Hey there, NXTGEN families! Ate Mika here.
And me, at Alexi.
2 weeks ago, Kuya Gino shared with us about letting Jesus be our boss so that we can shine His light brightly in the dark through all the work we do.
And last week, Ate Liana told us some amazing stories about Daniel and how we can shine for Jesus by doing our best in all the work we do for God, not so people would like us.
And no matter what happens, even when it's hard or challenging.
Yeah, but Ate Mika, many times we're not the only ones who have to do the work given.
That's so right, Alexi. Many times, we need to work with a group or a team.
For a school project or like a performance task.
Yeah, there are many kinds of sports where we have to play with a team too.
Like basketball or soccer or volleyball.
We need to work with a team too when we're part of a show.
Like you and me right now!
Yeah, like us. Or when we're acting or singing or dancing.
Wait, that reminds me. Many families actually sent themselves singing and dancing to our NXTGEN Shine for Jesus song.
And they're working together by practicing so that they can remix or duet Kuya Gino and Ate Marian's reel in Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine for Jesus. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine for Jesus. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine for Jesus. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine for this little light of mine. I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine for Jesus. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine for Jesus.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine for Jesus. I'm gonna let it shine for Jesus. I'm gonna let it shine for Jesus. I think we had better teamwork with this dance rather than we did with our wall building activity a while ago.
Yep, that's definitely what happens when we don't work together as a team.
So, how do we shine for Jesus when we're in a group or a team?
That's what we'll find out from our Bible lesson today here in
NXTGen Live!
NXTGEN!
Our Bible story today is about a man named Nehemiah. He was an Israelite, but he had to live in the city of Susa and work for the Persian ruler, King Artaxerxes. Nehemiah had a very important job of being the king's cupbearer.
Cupbearer? What's so important about carrying a cup?
The cupbearer's job was to taste the king's food and wine and make sure there's no poison in it before serving them to him.
Oh, so the king actually trusts Nehemiah with his life.
Yes. And one day, Nehemiah heard that the Israelites in the land of Judah were going through so much anxiety and shame. The wall that goes all around Jerusalem was broken down and the gates were all burned.
Wait, so that means their enemies can come easily and attack them.
That's why when Nehemiah heard the news, he sat down and cried. He really loved his own country so much.
But Nehemiah didn't just cry and do nothing about the problem. Nehemiah fasted and spent more time praying to God for many days.
He asked God to forgive them for all their sins, and he begged God.
Lord, please listen to the prayers of all of us who serve you. Please let the king be kind to me and agree to what I will ask of him.
One day, the king saw Nehemiah and asked him why he looked so sad.
Nehemiah was afraid, but he told the king all about how sad he felt about the broken down wall of Jerusalem. Surprisingly, the king got concerned and asked,
What do you want?
That's Nehemiah's chance to ask the king for help.
Yes, but before answering the king, Nehemiah prayed to God first. And then he said to the king,
If it pleases you, King Artaxerxes, let me go back to Jerusalem and rebuild the city wall and gates.
That could make the king angry, or worse, have Nehemiah killed.
But God gave Nehemiah what he prayed for. The king allowed him to go and rebuild Jerusalem's wall and gates. And he didn't just let Nehemiah go, he even gave Nehemiah all the wood he needed to rebuild the wall and gates. But wait,
There's more! The king also gave Nehemiah an official letter so that the other people would allow him to enter into Jerusalem. It's kind of like a special permit, like a visa or a passport.
and he even sent army officers and horsemen to go with him so that no one will bother him on the way there.
It's amazing how the king gave Nehemiah all that he asked for. And really, it was God who made that happen.
Yes, but this is only the beginning.
Nehemiah still had to build that huge wall all around the city. How was Nehemiah going to do that?
When he arrived in Jerusalem, he went all around the city to study the broken wall and make a plan.
Then he talked to the Israelites living there. He shared with them about his plan to rebuild the wall and how God has been helping him through the kindness of the king.
The Israelites agreed to follow Nehemiah's lead and work together on the wall. Chapter 3 of the book of Nehemiah lists the names of all the Israelites who helped and worked at different parts of the wall and the gates.
Okay, here I go.
Eliashib and other priests, Zachar, the sons of Hassanah, Meremoth, Meshullam, Zadok, some men from Tekoa, Joiada, some men from Gibeon and Mitzvah, Meliatha, Janan, Uzziel, Hananiah, Reviah, Hattush, Malchijah, Hashub, Shalom, and his daughters, Hannah and some people from Zanoah, and Malchijah, Shallun, and Rehob, and some Levites, Hasabiah, and Phidel, and some other Levites, Ezra, Baruch, Meremoth, and some other priests, Benjamin, Azariah, Paiah, Badiah, Aphel, the temple servants, men from Tekoa, more priests, Zadok, Shemaiah,
And even Nehemiah himself worked on the wall with his very own hands. Oh, thank you. Thank you.
But while they were rebuilding the wall, they met all kinds of problems.
Some enemies didn't want Nehemiah and the others to rebuild the wall, and they tried many things to stop them. First, they made fun of them and accused them of going against the king.
Then they made plans to attack them.
And then they tried to trick Nehemiah by pretending to invite him to a meeting far away so they could kill him when he was alone.
And they even paid a priest from Jerusalem to trick Nehemiah to leave the wall and hide in the temple.
And the Israelites had problems among themselves too. The people were getting scared of working on the wall because enemies might come and attack them. And they were getting so tired.
And some people were telling Nehemiah that they needed money and food, and the rich people were making things harder for them.
It must have been really hard for Nehemiah to lead all these Israelites through all these problems.
Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do if I was in his shoes.
You need sandals.
Oh, sandals. But Nehemiah trusted God every step of the way.
Every time there was a problem, he looked to God as his guide. When the enemies tried to make him weak, he asked God for strength.
God warned Nehemiah about all the plans of the enemies. So Nehemiah led everyone to prepare for battle and escaped every trick they had.
So all those plans of the enemies, they all failed.
Nehemiah did not let the problem stop him from leading the people.
He took care of the people who were in need, and he reminded them all how great God is.
And they finished that long wall around the whole city in just 52 days.
And they didn't have all the electric machines we have now. They could really only done it with God's help.
That's exactly what the enemy said too. Even they saw the power of God at work. Nehemiah really shined God's light through the darkness as a leader.
Wait, do we always have to be a team leader before we can shine for Jesus?
What do you think, truth seekers and truth guardians? Can we also shine for Jesus when we're a team member and not a leader? Yes or no?
Well, yes, we can. What would have happened to the wall of Jerusalem if all those people didn't choose to follow Nehemiah?
Or if each one of them just decided to do things their own way?
Nehemiah and every member of his team worked together on rebuilding that wall. Each of them shined God's light by doing their part and doing their best work for God.
Sometimes God calls us to be a leader, and sometimes He calls us to be a member.
And whether we're a leader or a member, we're a very important part of the team.
Even the best basketball shooter can't score many points if his other teammates don't block the other team and pass the ball to him.
And we would do a much better job in our school projects if we have a good leader and if every member really works well together.
Yeah, and Alexi, you know what? We're part of a team at home too.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right, our families.
That's right. Our parents are our leaders at home who guide us. Our family can do wonderful things and shine for Jesus together when we all do our best in our part of the team.
Whether we're a daughter or a son or a brother or a sister, or a mother and a father.
Let's shine for Jesus in every group we're in by being a team player. And we do that by, number 1, always praying.
Oh yeah, Nehemiah prayed for guidance. He prayed for his team. And guess what? He also prayed for his enemies.
Number 2, loving our teammates.
Nehemiah cared so much about what his people needed.
Number 3, doing our part the best we can.
Nehemiah didn't just tell the people what to do, he also worked on rebuilding the wall.
And number 4, leading people to God.
Just like how Nehemiah reminded everyone about how great God is.
So, in this series, we've learned to, number 1, shine for Jesus, number 2, do our best for God, and number 3, be a team player.
And now, it's memory verse time!
Matthew chapter 5 verse 16. Let all your good deeds shine for all to see, so that everyone will praise their heavenly Father. Matthew chapter 5 verse 16.
Jesus showed us the best example of being a team player. Even if He is our greatest boss, He loved us so much that He came to earth, died on the cross, and rose again, so that all of us who believe in Him and accept Him can still be with Him in heaven.
Have you accepted Jesus in your heart yet? Have you let Jesus be the boss or team leader of your life? If you've never done that before, it's never too late to invite Him in now. All you need to do is talk to Jesus and pray something like this. Dear Jesus, I want to be part of your team. Please forgive me for not following you as my leader. Thank you so much for your great sacrifice on the cross for me, so that I can be with you in heaven someday. Please come into my heart and be my boss, my leader, my Lord, and my Savior. Help me to shine for you and be a team player, so that other people will praise you. In your name I pray, amen.
If you just prayed to invite Jesus in your heart,
you are now a member of the best team ever. Welcome to God's family!
well, we've reached the end of our Shine for Jesus series.
But next week, it's the start of something new.
We'll be talking about being part of another team.
Oh, and this is a big team.
But you will have to come back next week to find out what it is.
But while you wait for next week, why don't you tell us about what you learned from our Shine for Jesus series through our Padlet page?
Just visit the link or scan the QR code right here on your screen.
And if you haven't done our Shine for Jesus dance reel yet, gonna shine for Jesus, it's not too late.
You can still head on the NXTGen Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube accounts and join the fun!
Just remix or duet our video and make sure to tag at ccfnxtgen in your posts.
We can't wait to see your videos.
And see you next week for another episode of NXTGen Live! 1, 2, 3. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine.
Hey NXTGen families, how about spending time sharing with each other your answers to our discussion questions?
Because a family that shares with each other stays together.
And grows in the Lord together.
Let's use these questions to help us discuss what we learned in today's lesson.
Have a great time discussing!
Want to be part of a NXTGen small group via Zoom? If you are 7 to 12 years old, you can be part of an online squad or small group by registering on the link in the description or scanning this QR code. Hope to see you there!